New sheriff in town, I have to tell you, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube these days are the court hearings where illegals are in court and ICE shows up to drag them out of court and deport them. I can think of nothing more American today than keeping our streets safer by getting those violent criminals out of the United States of America, and we all have Donald J. Trump to thank for it.
So Nancy Mace, a United States member of Congress, thinks it's a great idea to disincentivize people from showing up to their court hearings. Got it. Now, Congresswoman Mace likes to kick back and relax at the end of the day with a bottle of wine, very cliche, and watch YouTube videos of helpless immigrants being scooped up at courthouses to be deported by ICE. But again, don't be fooled by the description that she gave you there, making it seem as though all of these individuals are dangerous criminals who should be deported immediately. We're talking about people who show up to their court hearings to make their case and to check in with the courts as they're supposed to do. And when you have all these videos going viral of ICE agents essentially snatching people up when they show up to their court hearings, it's going to discourage other undocumented immigrants from following through with the law and showing up. Now, in the past few months, thousands of people have faced arrest after showing up to their court-ordered ICE check-ins and immigration court hearings. Since May, the Trump administration has been asking judges to essentially dismiss immigrants' deportation cases altogether. Once the judge agrees, ICE officials arrest them in the hallways and put them in fast-track deportation proceedings, no matter which legal immigration pathway they may have been pursuing. Again, this just discourages people from showing up to court, and I don't think people want that. Now, the arrests take place immediately after immigration cases are dismissed or closed, and it's happening all over the country. Take a look.
News Nation cameras captured this moment where at least 3 individuals were arrested outside the federal courthouse here in San Antonio following their hearing. As you can see in that video, agents wearing face coverings. ICE says that it is now standard in some operations after several agents did receive death threats following earlier enforcement actions. In Chicago, ICE agents were also seen making arrests outside of a courthouse while a protest was underway. Local officials say at least 10 people were taken into custody. You can see there's more clashes now between the public and agents, and across the country, similar scenes are unfolding. In Virginia, a new video from an advocacy group also appearing to show ICE agents arresting migrants outside an immigration court. And in New York City, ICE agents took at least 15 people into custody outside of a federal courthouse as well. We're seeing those same scenes also in California. In San Francisco, ICE agents arresting at least 15 people during an enforcement operation, according to city officials.
In some cases, after individuals are deported, their family members are left without any information whatsoever for days on end. And Gregory Chen, a director at the American Immigration Lawyers Association, says, quote, "We're talking about people who are already complying with the legal court process and who have claims of asylum or have other legal protection. They should have a right to a fair day in court," but that's something that's being deprived from them by the Trump administration. Cenk.
So this is really important. It's not like they are charged on criminal conduct and they take them after they get convicted in the courthouse. There's logic to that, okay? And by the way, I don't agree with sanctuary cities who say that we should not turn over convicted criminals to ICE.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's other parts of sanctuaries, being a sanctuary city, that I do agree with, including protecting victims of crime, right? But that one particular part where they say, no, we're not gonna turn over the criminals, doesn't make any sense, right? But that is not what is happening here at all. What is happening here is they're going before the hearing, and it is not a criminal hearing. It's a hearing on things that range from seeking asylum in a perfectly legal way that you're supposed to, and we're supposed to provide, to actual green card holders. So last week we shared a story with you guys of an 82-year-old that's a green card holder and hence a resident, a legal resident of America. That's just one step below American citizen. They can't vote, but they have almost every other right, okay? He shows up, he's a sick 82-year-old man. They deport him. And he's like, I lost my green card. I came to get a new green card. And now he's gone. And his family couldn't find him for a long time. Then they found him in a different country that he's not from. He's from Chile, and he escaped the authoritarian government of Pinochet a long time ago. They sent him to a different Latin American country.
Guatemala specifically.
Yeah, what is this? What kind of insanity is this? And who is it trying to appease? Is it trying to make all the Trump voters happy? Because a lot of the Trump voters wanted the border closed, they wanted the criminals deported. But did they ask you to deport perfectly legal residents of America? I don't remember that, right? So there are some people who say, I don't really care, right? I'm a radical and I don't like how they look. I don't care that they're here illegally. Just take them out, right? Yeah, is there a crowd like that? There is. But if you think that forget the left and the middle. If Trump thinks that's his entire voter base, that his entire voter base is filled with like mean, vicious people who don't care about the law and who just want to deport people that look different than them, whether they're here legally or not, I think he's making a mistake. I think he's making a significant mistake. Well, because there is that portion in his base that we keep talking about. Yeah. But there's also a huge portion who didn't sign up for that at all.
And by the way, I mean, look, I have no doubt that during the Biden administration, there was an abuse of our asylum system. Individuals who are trying to come into the United States for economic reasons claimed asylum, which, asylum has to do with fleeing violence or persecution in the home country, not about protecting individuals who want to come here for economic reasons. So the whole point of the court hearings is to allow for a judge to adjudicate whether or not this asylum seeker is here on legitimate asylum claims. But all this does is just discourage people from showing up to their court hearings. If I were here trying to seek asylum and I knew that ICE was snatching people up as they report to their court hearings, I wouldn't go to my court hearings.
Of course, honestly, like if it was a friend of mine and they're asking, hey, I'm legal here, but I'm going to my hearing, should I go? I would tell them don't, right? Because they're
gonna snatch you up and deport you. They're not even gonna listen to you.
They're not gonna listen to your hearing.
Yeah.
So if you signed up for law and order, does this look like a law and order to you? No, it's breaking down the rule of law. It's saying don't rely on the courts, don't rely on our justice system. We're not gonna give you justice. We're just gonna kidnap you and send you somewhere you don't even belong, right? So why are they doing this? Because it's so counterproductive, including to their own political goals and Trump's persistent need for popularity. The reason is Stephen Miller wants to break Barack Obama's record on deportations. And Obama's record is significant.
3 million.
So he's saying he's got a quota, and he's saying go round up as many people as you can and send them out. Legal, illegal, who cares, okay? So that's why, and why are they going to the courts? Because it's the easiest place. Oh, there's a bunch of immigrants showing up for a legal proceeding. Let's not give them that legal proceeding. They're immigrants. Stephen Miller will be happy. The Alligator Alcatraz crowd will be happy. Let's just grab them and deport them, and it'll go towards our quota. And then Trump will get to say that he was meaner than Barack Obama. That's what this is about.
Now, just going back to Nancy Mace quickly, Mace is thrilled that immigrants trying to follow the law by reporting to their court hearings are being fooled and essentially snatched up by ICE and thrown out of the country without a fair day in court. But look, I also, for those who don't care, for whatever reason, you think it's great to disincentivize people from showing up to their court hearings. I want you to also keep in mind, it's not necessarily just adults who show up to their court hearings. Tragically, unaccompanied minors are often the biggest victims. They're forced to navigate this confusing court system alone. Usually they might have someone representing them, but still they're unaccompanied minors. They're not here with family. Unlike in criminal court, there's no guaranteed right to a government appointed attorney in immigration court proceedings, even for kids. So children, some of whom are too young to even speak, are left to defend themselves. I'm not kidding. This is literally part of our whole immigration system. And so during Trump's first term, filmmaker Linda Friedman actually created a realistic reenactment of some of these court proceedings and what they look like. So again, this is a reenactment that you're about to watch, but just take a look at how absurd this is.
Are you a little nervous this morning? See? Do you understand what these proceedings here in court are all about? You know what a lawyer is? No? Do you have a lawyer? No?
So, Congresswoman Mace, you enjoy this? Like, you're enjoying your bottle of wine? You know, a nice Pinot Noir as you're, watching people be treated the way that they're being treated right now in our immigration courts. And finally, look, I just want to address what the Congresswoman has been saying in that same interview that we showed you. She says that there's nothing more American than getting violent criminals off our streets. Okay, just essentially smearing everyone who's getting snatched up by ICE in court as violent criminals. But there is a small issue with that. As of July 13th, there were 56,816 people in ICE detention, and 71.5% of these have no criminal convictions, according to the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, which tracks immigration data. So it's important to know the facts. You know, if you see all this going on and you think it's totally okay, I mean, I vehemently disagree. And if you want people who are here seeking asylum to follow the law and go through the proper channels, well, this is disincentivizing all of that. Cenk, final word.
So by calling them all violent criminals, when 70% of them, as Anna just showed you, have no criminal record at all, it's kind of Israeli level lie, right? So we're just gonna smear everyone and hope that you never find out the truth. And so to the point that Anna was making about the kids, not only are some of the kids there unrepresented and don't know what to do, don't know what to say, they're kids, right? But sometimes the parents get sent away and they didn't make any preparations because they were following the law. They didn't think that they were gonna be kidnapped by ICE. Their kids are home alone. They're deported already and the kids are left behind. I mean, it's an epic disaster. So the Nancy, and then by the one last piece of irony here, so people are gonna stop going to court, and then these guys are gonna turn around and go, bunch of criminals. But you were arresting them before any of the hearings. Of course they're not gonna go to court. And it becomes a vicious cycle. So the Nancy Maces and the Stephen Millers of the world believe that they were elected to be evil, and that all of their voters are as evil as they are. And that they're enjoying not taking out violent criminals, we all agree to that, but they're enjoying the suffering of immigrants, whether they're here in a way that's legal or not. And I don't think they're right. And maybe a lot of people on the left might agree with Nancy Mace and Stephen Miller, and have a negative view of Republican voters and independent voters that voted in that direction. And they think, oh, they're all evil, right? But I don't think so. They don't think so. And according to the polling, the great majority of Americans don't think so. They didn't sign up for evil.
And by the way, final thing I'll say about Nancy Mace, she's been making the rounds in the press, and there are some whispers about how she's eyeing a gubernatorial run in her state of South Carolina. So in other words, she is essentially signaling to the world that she believes that the majority of people in the great state of South Carolina love the idea of punishing people who are following the law, showing up to their court hearings by snatching them up, arresting them, and deporting them. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see if her assumptions are true.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.